Hi YouTube, it's Kathy, and if you've never been on my channel before, welcome. This video is definitely a great place to start. I came up with this idea because I've been on YouTube for over 5 years now, and I have between 700 and 800 videos on my channel at this point, so there's a lot. I've also been pretty decent at putting different collections of things into playlists, but it's sometimes hard to find those playlists because you can only list so many on your profile. Today I'm going to go through those playlists, and I'm going to link all of them in the description of this video so that you can find them and find the types of videos that you want to watch that I have published. I've broken these playlists into groups, so those will all be linked down below with the timestamps. Firstly, two of my oldest playlists, the first one being oldest to newest. This is every single video on my channel. I've never deleted a video on my channel, and they're all from my very oldest, which I was very smart in naming because I knew it was going to be embarrassing because everybody's first video is. And then in chronological order, that goes to present day. The playlist with the second most videos on it is every video with captions. When I first started making videos, I didn't know about closed captioning and how you should be doing that with your videos, so there are about 20 to 30 videos from way back in the day that I just don't want to rewatch, so those ones don't have captions. But other than that, every single video besides live streams has been captioned. I also make sure to put captions in place before any of my videos go live, again with the exception of live streams. Next we're on to books, which is the biggest category of videos. First we have my weekly entertainment playlists, which is a group of videos where every week I sit down and I talk about every book I read, every show and movie I watched, and then also the books or podcasts I read that week. I've been doing this for 4 years straight. I have never missed a week, so there are over 200 videos in this playlist, and I talk about at least 650 books to date. Next, for people that don't really like their wrap-ups on a weekly basis, I have monthly wrap-ups of all the books I read. These videos are different because I just talk about the books that I read in a month, and I also include statistics, so if you like seeing graphs and charts and seeing how diverse my reading is or anything like that, these are the videos for you. I also go through my books in these videos from the lowest rated to the highest rated. Next, in case you just want to watch BookTube and you don't really care what the format is, I have every single BookTube video in one playlist. This is definitely a place that is a catch-all for the types of videos that I do that are one-off, kind of like discussion videos. I don't do them so often that I actually have a playlist at this point, but it has every single BookTube-related video in one place. Next we have TBR videos, and there are a lot of them because I love doing readathons. I don't do monthly TBR videos unless it's a challenge that lasts for the entire month, but then it's not really for the month, it's for the readathon. I love participating in readathons, I love blacking out a bingo board, I love figuring out different books for different prompts, and often I don't know too much about the book going in because I like to go into books without too many preconceived notions. Next we have tag videos. There's a chance that there's a couple of tags in here that aren't book related, but I can't think of any off the top of my head, so I figured it was safe to put it in the book section of this video. This is a great resource for any original tags that I've made because I've made a few over the years, as well as any tags I have done. Next we have reading vlogs. Sometimes these are daily vlogs, sometimes these are weekly vlogs, and sometimes you will see overlap between this and a couple of other playlists depending on what I've put together in the past. A very specific type of reading vlog is the spectacular standalones. This is a series where I sit down, I read an entire book, and after every single chapter, I stop to tell you what happened and what I thought of it. This is a lot of fun, but a lot of work, and obviously full of spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled for a book, don't watch that video until you've read it. But I really enjoy how this makes me really think about what I'm reading in real time. Next we have the A to Z of Queer Lit list. This is a challenge that so far I have done 8 times, and every time I fill up a new list, I make a new video. This is a challenge created by George Lester where you're meant to take every letter of the alphabet and find a queer book that fits that letter either in the title or in the author's name. That means, at current, that is a playlist of over 200 queer book recommendations. Next, I have a playlist for my Friday Reads Live. This was a series I did for 7 or 8 weeks kind of in the pandemic times, I wanted to sit down with my friends and do a silent reading hour. So we would get together, talk about what we were reading, then we would read for about an hour, come back, and then talk about what we had read. This is one of those things where it's really nice just to put it on in the background so you feel like you're reading with friends, even if you're home during the pandemic. These ones, of course, being live, I have not put the closed captions on. Next, we have 5 bookish questions, which is a challenge I created with my friend Eric over at Break Even Books, where we send each other 5 bookish questions. We have no idea what they're going to be ahead of time, and then we each answer the questions that the other person sent. I've only done this collaboration with a few different people, but I would love to do more of it, and other people can do this too, and if you want your videos to go on this playlist, just let me know they exist. Next we have Fill in the Blank Recommends Books. This is a series where I've gone to different conventions and I have asked random people at those conventions to recommend a book to me. On the one hand, this is very out of character for me because I am an introvert, but on the other hand, it's very in character because I love talking to people about books. Last for this category, we have Buddy Read Book Reviews. In this category, a friend and I have decided to read 2 books and we're going to talk about each of them on each other's channels. For example, with one of my friends, we decided we were going to read Ramona Blue, and we decided we were going to read, I think it was Geekerella. And then on one channel, we talked about one book, on the other channel, we talked about the other book, and then we cross-promoted. I haven't done one of these in a really long time, and I would be really into doing it again. Next, we have a section of playlists that are still book-related, but they're very specific, and it's my section for BookNet Fest tags. BookNet Fest is my absolute favorite thing in the world, and it's a convention held in Florida where we all come together as book lovers and bookish creators, and we have panels and we meet each other in person for the first time, and it's just lovely. I love it so much. So in 2018, I created the BookNet Fest tag as an icebreaker for people that were going to the convention but wanted to kind of know some faces ahead of time, and then I've done it every year since, including in 2020 when the event didn't take place in person because pandemic, but it did shift online. At current, I have playlists for 2018, 2019, and 2020. Next, we have a section of playlists that are week-long challenges. The first one is when I did daily videos for Booktubeathon 2017. It has since changed names. It has since not become my favorite thing in the world, but I really enjoyed that. This was basically my first big readathon that I did, and I liked that I did the TBR and I did all of the daily challenges and all of that type of thing. Another readathon that is sadly not happening anymore is Contemporaryathon, and in round 4 I did daily vlogging for that as well, so that is another playlist you can watch. Now we're getting into month-long challenges. You might have heard of Vlogmas, you might have heard of Veda. I've done some form of those things many times. The most recent version of this I called 34 for 34. This was during the month where I was turning 34. I decided to put out 34 videos. So 30 videos for 30 days in April, plus my 4 weekly entertainment wrap-ups. I pre-filmed the intro to this one on about March 1st, so by the time April 1st came around, it had some out-of-date information in it because it was talking about how I was really excited that I was going to London that month, and obviously that never happened because pandemic. In 2017, I did Veda, so video every day in April, and then I also did Bookmas, so I did a different book-related video. I believe it was every day in December. I also did Veda in 2016, I also did Vlogmas in 2016, and my first ever month-long challenge was Vlogmas in 2015. By that point, I had only made 8 videos ever, so I'm pretty proud that I buckled down and did 31 videos in a month after basically no experience doing any editing. I also didn't have great editing software at that point. It was a time. Next, we have a collection of playlists I'm calling Other Series and Topics, the first one being Road to VidCon 2016. In 2016, I decided I was going to take a month off and I was going to road trip all the way down to VidCon and all the way back. For those of you who don't know, I live on Vancouver Island in Canada, so I had to take a bus and then a ferry and then another bus and then a train, and I made many stops along the way before I got to California, and then I basically had to do the same thing in reverse but much quicker. Every video I made during that month is on that playlist, including the time that I came out in a random field in Eugene, Oregon. I'm getting warm sitting here, which makes me think that I am probably turning red, which is my least favorite of my skin tones, so just I'm gonna switch to a different shirt. which probably also means that my hair is a mess. Next we have a playlist I haven't updated in a very long time, and that's spoken word videos. For a while back, and I think it was 2016 or 2017, I was taking some poetry classes with a friend of mine, so I have some spoken word stuff that I've done over the years, but it's not something I do very often. One of the first series I created on this channel is called Come Drink With Me, and it's a series where I sit down with a friend of mine and we discuss a topic together while drinking something. It doesn't have to be alcoholic, but for me it usually is. Another older series includes Ask an Introvert, where people would ask me questions about being introverted and I would answer those questions as an introvert. This series was a lot of fun and I still get people commenting on these videos to this day, but I kind of ran out of questions, and if you don't have questions, you can't really give answers. I also have a playlist for travel videos. I absolutely love travel, which means the fact that I was supposed to go on 2 international trips this year and obviously wasn't able to kind of sucks, so that hasn't been updated for quite some time, but when it is safe to travel again, I will definitely be doing that. It also bums me out slightly that I didn't start my vlogging until after I had done most of my international trips I've ever done in my life. For example, I lived for a year in Ireland, I lived for a year in Scotland, I've been back to both of those places, I've been to Portugal, I've been to Russia, although I didn't even have a digital camera at that point, so would not have been vlogging. I've also been to Germany and Greece, and one place I was able to do some vlogging was actually Mexico, so that's on that playlist. But yeah, I am looking forward to a future, probably a distant future, where I'm able to add things to that list again. Another very small playlist from way back in the day is my how-to videos. There's just a few things that I did on camera, kind of instructionally, like how I make coffee in a French press, because people have told me that's weird. I don't think it's weird at all, but apparently people wanted instructions, so I made that video. And now we're into the last section of playlists, which I'm calling Not All on My Channel, but collected there. This is a selection of playlists that have a certain theme, but obviously not all of these videos are from my channel, especially the first one, which is called Kathy Trethart on Other Channels. Anytime I'm a background character in a music video, or I'm featured on somebody else's channel in a collaboration or anything like that, I add those videos to that playlist. There's also a fantastic video of me running around a city on Crete, just doing random workout things in public, because at the time I was traveling, I was doing some workout stuff with a group online, and at that point I didn't know how to video edit, so my boyfriend actually put that together and we used his cousin and my friend's song as the background music. That's something that's on there. There is also a music video I made for a college project about wine. So go nuts on that playlist. It's got some things on it. I also have a playlist of all of the collaborations I did at VidCon 2017, so some of those videos will be on my channel and some of those videos are on other people's channels. I have a playlist featuring queer booktubers and I want to add as many as possible to this, so if that is you, let me know so I can put a video on that playlist. I also run a Facebook group where every week we put together a playlist of everybody's videos and then we watch each other's videos for engagement. This is called BookTube Weekly, and I have put together a master list of all of the videos that have been featured over the weeks. I go through it periodically and take out the deleted videos or the videos that have been made private, but it's a great place to find people you've never heard of before, especially because the majority of the people that participate are very small creators. Similarly, for years now, I've been running the playlist for Women on YouTube, which is a Facebook group again of women on YouTube who put videos on the playlist, and every week we watch everybody's videos. There are actually 3 master playlists for this group because it's been going on longer and there are more people on the playlists. So weeks 1 to 99, sort of, because I wasn't responsible for a lot of the playlists that happened in that period, so I didn't have access to them. And then weeks 100 to 199 and weeks 200 to 299. I think we're in the 270s right now, so that one's going to fill up, and eventually I will have weeks 300 to 399. I also know there's going to be at least one new playlist in 2021 because I am planning a new project that will need its own playlist. But I haven't announced that project yet, so I can't tell you what that's going to be. I think I will, however, create a playlist for it that will just be empty for now, but we'll have a link down below. So in case you're watching this in the future and you want to know what the 2021 project was, you will be able to click on that playlist. And there you have it. Obviously, over the years, there are some videos here and there that haven't fit on any of these playlists besides the every video playlist or the every video with captions playlist. But I wanted to make this as a resource so you could find the type of videos from me that you personally really want to watch or are interested in. What playlist sounds the most interesting to you? Let me know about it down in the comments below. On the way down to the comments, if you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. If you don't want to leave a comment but want to make sure that I know you were here, just leave me an emoji or a smiley face if you're on your keyboard. Some people have asked if there's a way to financially support this channel, so I set up a Ko-fi account, which is a digital tipping service. The link for that is always down below, as well as the link to my PayPal and my Amazon wishlist in case you would like to buy me a book. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I will see you very soon. Bye!